A lot of people ask me about how to gain self-confidence and raise their sense of self-esteem. So, having had none when I was growing up and into my quite late in life, I had to figure out how to do it. So I figured it out because the psychologists I went to weren't too helpful. So I figured it out on my own. I started keeping these little notebooks. Okay, here's my notebook. And on one side it says things that made me happy, blessings in my life, miracles that happened, and on the other side my victories, things I did that were really difficult. So back then when it was hard to give up chocolate, I would write, didn't eat chocolate. Or when it was hard to give up Coke, I wrote I didn't have the Coke. Or when it was hard to go to a Shiva call, or whatever I did that was difficult that day, I wrote down 4 or 5 things that were difficult for me, and I called them my victories. And then I would tell my kids about why I had such a victory. I went and returned this, or I talked to the bank manager, or I would just mention it throughout the day. My victories, that was my victory notebook. And I talked to my kids about their victories. I made a victory notebook for all of my kids. And I started talking to them about their victories, that they got up on time and they brushed their teeth and they put things away. And we had a whole victory mentality in the house. We were focusing on the positive. And this is the way that you raise your sense of self-worth. This is the way that you get over addictions, because remember that addictions come from a place of emptiness within yourself and from feeling unloved and insignificant and unimportant. When you begin to focus on your victories, you suddenly begin to think, wow, I can do this. I can overcome an urge to criticize somebody. I can be silent. I don't have to eat all the junk food I want. So as you begin to notice your victories, your sense of self-esteem starts to rise, and it comes from within you, not from anybody else around you. You don't need a spouse, you don't need anybody to be giving you approval. You're starting to get it from yourself, and from you're proud of yourself for whatever victories you're having today, wherever you're at. And you can always have a victory. Just getting up in the morning sometimes is a victory. Taking a shower, smiling, brushing, whatever it is, brushing your teeth, recycling your bottles or your batteries. There are thousands of victories that you can have during the day. When you start paying attention to it, you start to create your own inner sense of self-worth. Here are some of my victory notebooks that I've kept. And I share with my kids, I share with my grandkids. I write down, I pick up bottles when I go out that people have thrown out and I recycle them. I tell them about my victories. My kids love to hear about them. My grandkids love to hear about them. Sometimes I'm tired and I don't feel like getting up, and I'll say, it's so hard to move. And I'm going to have a victory and I'm going to get up. So I let them know when things are hard for me. Obviously you can't share all your victories. Some of them wouldn't be modest to share with everybody, but share the victories that you could share with the people around you. Start writing down 5 or 10 victories a day. And 5 or 10 things that bring you joy. It could be flowers, it could be the sunshine, it could be a good Devar Torah. Anything that you're doing that makes you happy, and anything that you're doing that's making you proud of yourself is a victory. So start writing these things down, make a little notebook for yourself, and this is the path to building your own sense of self-confidence that isn't going to be affected by what other people think of you.